Do you ever stop at some weird spots on your way to someplace else? Well, today we're gonna make a few stops. So we drove out to Kodachrome Basin State Park looking for the Grand Escalante Staircase National Monument.
And guess what? We were driving through it the whole time. I was actually looking for a marker or something, you know, that said, here's the National Monument. But I guess the whole area, according to the ranger at the state park, this whole area is the Grand Escalante National Monument.
So let's drive you through it and show you around. So on Highway 12, as you make your way from Bryce Canyon over to Capitol Reef, you're gonna see a sign for about 4 different state parks. Kodachrome is just one of them, and it's gorgeous. Kodachrome Basin State Park lives up to its name. With the multicolored rock formations under blue sky, it definitely makes you want to photograph it. One fun tidbit, the National Geographic Society came up with the name for it. They had to get consent from Kodak to use the name. Camping here would be amazing, with these spires and chimneys jutting up around the campground. There's even an arch to explore. We had passed the visitor center in Cannonville on our way out, but it was too early and they were not open. So we looked forward to stopping in on the way back out. This turned out to be a very eye-opening educational experience we highly recommend. They even had a stamp for our book. All right, so tell me about the Dinosaur Head.
There's a little paper there that says his name. It's not a T-Rex, it's a cousin of the T-Rex. Called,
Yeah, I can't say it. Take a picture of it. Take a picture.
All right.
it's found in the Petroglyphs region here.
It's not what you expect to see.
He was about as tall as the exit sign there.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
9 feet tall and 30 feet wide, which is about from the desk here to that first pillar outside. Wow.
Oh, holy moly.
That was his tail.
Holy moly. That's so big. I think it's awesome that even pieces you use every day are just works of art. The Paiute Indians arrived in this area around 1100 AD, where they farmed the land using limited irrigation techniques. The first European contact was in 1776 with the Escalante Dominguez Party, and then in 1826, Jedediah Smith established the overland route to California. In 1850, the Mormons arrived with typical disastrous effect on the Paiutes.
The whole monument here is 1.9 million acres, but it's in 3 parts. So you have the Escalante River here, which carves out the canyons of the Escalante on the east side. And then the Capitol Plateau makes up the interior, which lets people go out there, but that's where all the dinosaurs are hiding.
Oh, okay.
And then the staircase is here, but actually extends all the way out to Zion National Park. So it's quite wide, all the way down to the Grand
everything
Canyon.
we've been looking at for the last 2 days.
Basically, yeah. Bryce, Zion, Grand Canyon, all on different steps.
And this is why you should always go into visitor centers. We had no idea that for pretty much the last 3 parks, we have been driving through the Grand Staircase Escalante. Had no idea. Always worth it to stop. Another tip, these little towns here have their own Wi-Fi network for internet. You will not have any reception, so make sure you have some sort of satellite options if you're staying to camp.
So, another one of those weird things that you see and stop along the way. This is a monument that is for the Hole in the Rock expedition that left out of Escalante with 250 men, women, and children in 1879 to try to establish another settlement out in the middle of nowhere.
We are history nerds, and apparently we were wandering our way right into a treasure trove of Mormon history.
So apparently the Mormon church was trying to established settlements all throughout the Southwest, and one of these, the church called for people to go to the hole in the rock and try to establish a settlement. And a lot of them thought, well, you know, they were answering the call of the church, and decided that they would do so. But it was a rough go.
So I stopped off to pick up some coffee at the Hole in the Rock coffee place, and they told me, just hang on, a few miles out of town, you're gonna see a view. Well, they weren't wrong. That is one amazing view.
I'm a little confused, but right here on this sign it says in 1935, Civilian Conservation Corps crews began to build the Lower Boulder Road, now part of Highway 12, nicknamed the $1 Million Road. But I didn't think this was the $1 Million Highway. Maybe it's two different ones. Maybe the $1 Million Road is different than the $1 Million Highway. I'm not sure. We're gonna have to kind of research that out.
Route 12 is known as the $1 Million Road, and along with famous drives like our own Big Sur, is on the list of America's scenic highways. Like the PCH, it winds its way around breathtaking scenery. There are a few pullouts, but the views on this part of the staircase are all available as part of this fun drive. This is the section of the map the ranger shared with us at the visitor center, where all the dinosaurs are. So you could camp here and really explore the area looking for your own dino fossils. The Utah Mighty Five were living up to their name, but the connector roads were simply blowing our minds with their beauty. Okay, so I'm thinking that was pretty fun to drive.
Oh yeah, in this car it was fun.
But we're thinking the $1 Million Road and the $1 Million Highway are two different things. But that's cool. That means we get to go on two very expensive pieces of construction. Also known as the Journey Through Time Scenic Byway, Route 12 has been the location for countless Western and sci-fi films. And just 116 miles between Bryce Canyon and Capitol Reef National Parks, this is definitely the route we recommend taking rather than the interstates because of the beauty we found on the way to our destination.
Okay, so this is really trippy. This coffee house sort of out here in the middle of nowhere with this campground. It's pretty cool. This is the Kiva Coffee House, and they have some cabins or something to rent as well. But we can't go down and look at those.
There are a few places that make me stop and not take a picture first, but just be in awe. This is one of those views. The Escalante River running through this area creates an environment that is stunning, with so much green nestled in the red rock formations. Speaking of great camping and hiking,
said that you've been hurt one too many times before. Ended up staring in the bathroom mirror, crying on your bedroom floor. Baby, you can take my word, you haven't gotta hurt no more. Things about to get much better. I wanna make this forever. I wanna make this forever.
Well, after a really amazing scenic drive, welcome to Capitol Reef.
There are a couple of things that stood out to us about this park right away. The first was the signs pointing out the formations. We found them in several sections of the park. Right after the castle, we discovered the first of many audio posts.
For the United States of America, planet Earth in the Milky Way galaxy, one of billions of galaxies in the universe. Our planet is spinning around 900 miles per hour, rotating on its axis once every 24 hours, and orbiting around the sun every 365 days.
How cool is that? Do you know of any other national parks that have these audio posts? If you do, please leave us a comment down below. We want to know about them. Not only did we pick up a lot more knowledge about the locations, but also hearing the individual voices of the people from here was wonderful. The Visitor Center has one of the most incredible views we've ever seen at a national park. It's a small one, but we were able to get our stamp, wander around the museum exhibitions, finding out things like the wildlife that live here. Much more about the geology we've been seeing, and we both loved this quote.
And if you're a night sky person, apparently this is one of the places to come. Two different drives. One of them is the Scenic Drive. It's about 12 miles long for if you have like the American Beautiful Pass, it's totally free. Otherwise you pay for it. And then it has the longer drive, the one that goes all the way through the park and out again. So we're going to start off with the Scenic Drive.
I'll be honest, we had no idea of what Capitol Reef National Park was going to be like. We'd not heard anything about it. Unlike its much more famous partners in the Utah Mighty Five, you almost never hear its name, much less its history. And what a history it has. In 1880, Nels Johnson staked his homestead in Fruita. Here was everything they needed, and he planted the first orchards along with his wife, Mary Jane Bahunin, the daughter of one of the other first settlers, Elijah Bahunin, who led a group of pioneers to clear a wagon trail through Capitol Gorge. He also donated the first schoolhouse, and another of his daughters, Nettie, who was 12 at the time, was the first teacher. No more than 10 families at one time were able to live here. Dewey Gifford was one of the last settlers. And now, at Gifford House, you can pick up some wonderful baked goods.
So this is Mulford Orchard, and it's still a producing, working orchard today. The Mormons settled this area, and that was some of the buildings you saw, but there's also a campground here.
Fun tip. If you're staying at the campground, you can pick all the fruit you can eat while staying there. You can even purchase fruit by the pound if you want to take some to go. You could spend a very nice afternoon touring the buildings and orchards of Fruita. The campground looks like a great place to stay the week, but as with all national parks, the campgrounds book up fast, even the tent sites. After Fruita, you enter the paid section in the park, the Scenic Drive with colors and formations that live up to the name.
Take me where your river flows. I wanna drive on your open road like the wilderness where we are born, singing whoa. There's an ocean in your eyes, a million stars that paint the sky. So we'll drift down with the tide, singing whoa. Fly away somewhere past the Milky Way. Maybe we'll return someday. Don't wake me up, don't wake me up. goodbye, say it's alright. Throw your caution to the wind, the shelter of my single bed. You can call it Wanderlust.
So the scenic road is only about a 20-mile round trip. It's well paved, but very narrow. At points, it gets extremely narrow. But it's gonna be a little shorter for us because at F. Hanks Tower, it goes to a dirt road. And we're just in a passenger car, as you know, so we're not gonna take that chance, but that's okay. This is pretty stunning. Let me show you. So that's EPH Hanks, so I think that's F. Hanks Tower. Anybody see a face on that? You know I do.
You and me, let's fly away.
Here's Harry. Say hi, Harry.
Past the Milky Way. Maybe we'll return someday.
Harry took a stroll to Pleasant Creek while I watched this little guy run all over the parking lot near me.
Endless way. Freight trains and aeroplanes. Maybe we'll return someday.
There are times of year where this creek is actually full of water. In summer, you need to be aware of flash flooding.
Till we are home. Till we are home. Till we are home.
All right, so what do you think?
So we're gonna go ahead and try the Capitol Gorge Road. It is a dirt road, but you know what? I just saw a Mustang coming out of there, so if it can do it, we can do it.
Let's go.
Capitol Gorge is part of the Watershed Fold. It used to be a route through the rock till 1962, but now ends after just a few miles. The massive sheer cliffs of Wingate sandstone have sweeping lines that intercept one another at varying angles in the rock. Harry says pig, I say fish. What do you see? The NPS website says that large-scale crossbedding indicates windswept drifted dunes of an ancient desert. How cool is that? You can drive this, bike, or even walk, but be aware how narrow the road becomes as it goes deeper into the gorge. Hard sandstone layers like red Wingate and the white Navajo sandstones form cliffs which sometimes develop interesting weathering patterns, like Tafoni. Softer mudstone layers, like Chinle Formation, form slopes and low hills. The gorge is one of the best places in the park to easily see the different types of formations. Okay, we did it. You saw it. It was beautiful, but
Kind of stressed me out a little bit.
this car is very low to the ground. So if you have, you know, a truck or something like that, it would be nothing for you. A Jeep, absolutely no big deal.
SUV,
Even like a, you know, 4x4 sort of thing would be a lot of fun through that canyon. It was gorgeous. It was worth doing, but yeah, definitely stressful.
We are in this cool valley where all these big boulders have fallen down. And the one that Harry's at right now is like a giant piece of quartz or petrified wood. So cool.
There is petrified wood here, as well as gypsum, which flakes off in your hands. The Moenkopi are evidence that this was filled with water once upon a time, and even could have been a tropical environment. Many of the paths we walked up were made up of a silt-type sand or dirt. Most rock at Capitol Reef is sedimentary, formed in layers from loose materials like mud and sand. The gray and burgundy mounds are made up of volcanic ash. I think that is what is impressing us the most with the Mighty Five, and with the Grand Circle as a whole. Just how diverse geologically and visually these areas are. While they resemble each other, they're all very different from each other. From park to park and even section to section within the parks, you're never sure what you're going to find there. Wait, new sign! Unfortunately, we didn't see any marmots, but loved the baby one on the sign. We made our way back through Fruta, where unfortunately the pie shop was closed. But we were able to admire the Fremont River and soon found ourselves at the very accessible Petroglyphs.
Wow.
There is a boardwalk you can take that will lead you past several petroglyph sites. And if you don't have a long lens like I had, there are viewfinders available so you can see them close up.
So from where Harry is standing at the end of the boardwalk, you simply look up. And there they are. Right there.
The history of the first peoples here was just amazing and something I'll always associate with this park. And there's another audio post too.
My southern Paiute ancestors were roaming and hunting the canyon south of here when white settlers arrived in the 1880s.
As we continued to the Hickman Bridge hike, we couldn't miss the huge white formation called the Capitol Dome. Made of Navajo sandstone fins, this dome can only be seen going west to east since it is not a true dome.
To protect narrow canyons displaying evidence of ancient sand dune deposits of unusual scientific value. It was established as a national park on December 18, 1971 by an act of Congress.
The Hickman Bridge Trail is a moderate hike of 1.7 miles round trip, and we were considering taking it for a brief moment till we encountered the silt-like dirt and felt the raindrops start to fall. We knew we were not equipped to deal with that type of mud or the slick rock stairs, so we admired the Fremont River instead. Heading back to our room for the night, we decided to stop at the schoolhouse we'd seen and learn about it, and got a great surprise.
Okay, so we're ending our day here at Capitol Reef, and I don't know if you can see behind us, but there's a small herd of deer just hanging out.
Like right between our heads, a little bit above.
It's wild, but this is a great little park. You know, it's not huge. I mean, if you're going to do the trails and do all the hiking trails and stuff like that, you can spend days here. I mean, that's not like any national park, but the way we're doing it with small hikes and doing mainly the Scenic Drive, it's a one-day park.
And today has been an incredible day, from the $1 Million Road to the aspens in the snow to Capitol Reef National Park. What a great day. All right, we're going to end it here. We're going to see you next time in Canyonlands National Park. So take care, safe travels, and we'll see you next time.
You have to pay to go see the scenic loop, but this is a drive-through. It's a connector.
Right.
So they can't charge for that because it's a connecting route. Leaving the park, we found out one more bit of pioneer history. Elijah Cutler Bahunin built a tiny cabin for his family, too tiny for a family of 15. So the older boys slept in a rock crevice and the older girls slept in the wagon bed, while only Elijah and his wife Tabitha and the smallest of children slept inside. They only lived there for 1 year. We can see why. Thanks for hanging out with us here in Capitol Reef. We hope we've inspired some of you to add this to your list of must-see national parks. Next up, Canyonlands National Park and Moab. We do hope you will subscribe and keep following along.